but I am not ready to just break into those panels now. I said something yesterday about my hope for this conference not being that, you know, so many answers and solutions will be found, but that we will learn to ask better questions. Charles, I think after this, some of the questions in my head are completely reshaping, and I'm internally already reformulating my questions I have about some of these global challenges. So we need a bit to process this. And I did just get a note from my good friend Julius Muchunguzi from the office of the Prime Minister. But Julius, I did not need that. And not just because my wife is Kenyan, but because I know the face of a man called Anyang Nyong'o. And not just because people are talking about his daughter now, but if you know about politics in Kenya, you know about the story and history of that man. We are very pleased to have you in our midst. And if I may, can we have a microphone? I would actually love to invite you and give us a quick comment or question on what Charles has just shared with us. Do we stay here or you sit? Or you can go down wherever you
want. Well, I am an intruder, actually. I came here yesterday to give the Milton Obote Memorial Lecture at the Sheraton, which I did. And today at breakfast at the Sheraton, I saw Nyong'o Obo, who told me that there was this conferences participating in the Makerere, and could we drop in? And Julius was kind enough for us to drop in and just hear what's going on. I'm glad I came, because this is an area I'm completely ignorant of, and I've learned a lot in a very short time from Nyong'o. So I think I'll engage him when he's back in Nairobi to come and give me a tutorial on what he talks about this morning, which I'm completely at a loss to tell you the truth. Those figures look like rocket science, so I guess you can decipher them to lesser mortals like ourselves. But first I must thank the university. The hall has really improved. In our days we had plastic chairs or something less than that. There was no carpet. And the steps looked a little bit higher. Maybe they were the same, but I was a much younger man. And the atmosphere is very welcoming. I hope you get time to remove this chair sometimes and turn into a dance hall like we used to do. Dancing with girls from all kinds of training colleges around. And then we used to sit out there. Milton Obote was very fond of coming to dance with us and drink beer out there. Those were the days. And of course I remember, since I can't talk about the difficult subject that Nyong'o Obo has brought in this morning, I can just give you some sweet memories about the past. I remember there was a very famous debate here that was between or among the late Professor J.P.B.M. Ouma Muga, who was Professor of Geography and a specialist in a subject called alluvial geomorphology. I don't know what still that means up to this very day, but he was an expert in that area. And then there was the famous Professor Ali Mazrui, the late Mazrui, who could hold a debate on anything under the sun and still sound very sensible. And then there was a man called Walter Rodney from Dar es Salaam. And I remember Josh Mujenya and myself. Josh was my vice president We went to pick up Walter Rodney from University Hall, where he was staying. And on the way walking here, we asked him, but Professor, where are your notes? You know, he had a very shrill voice. He said, brothers, if it is not here, it is nowhere. So he came here, the subject was the written word and mass mobilization, because the nation was being mobilized to follow the move to the left strategy, written in the Common Man's Charter. The theme of the Common Man's Charter was to guide the misguided and inform the misinformed. So we said, well, the misguided and the misinformed must be informed by the written word, but how many Ugandans can read and write, and how are we going to inform them? So we organized as a student guild a topic to be handled by these giants. And it was great, because Ali Mazrui started by saying one of the things we have to credit the colonialists with is because they brought the written word. And for that matter, without the colonialists, we would not have the instrument to mass mobilize. When Rodi came to speak, he said, yes, Ali Mazrui can say the colonialists brought the written word, but they brought exploitation. They brought oppression. They brought the domination of the common man by the big boys. And this is what we have to deal with today. Then Mazrui came back and said, Professor Rodney and I are not in conflict over this issue. I think I only said that on the one hand, the colonialists did that. On the other hand, they also did bad things. So we have to be open to both. Then Rodney came back. Professor Mazrui and I are not in conflict. We are not even in contact. And colonialism came with only one hand. There was no one hand, the other one, this, the hand of exploitation, the hand of oppression. And that's why I'm not in conflict with Professor Mazrui. So we clapped and enjoyed, and I was moderating. So when I came to speak, I somehow managed to moderate between the two. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Continue moderating this important discussion. I don't think I'm in conflict to Onyango Obo over this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. What an opening we have today. And what an honor to have somebody like Prof Anyang Nyong'o give a spontaneous remark. And we all know, I think everybody in East Africa knows, he's a political heavyweight in the truest sense. So thank you for joining us. Maybe you can come back next year for Geopolitics 2020, and we will invite you as a keynote speaker, as a panelist. We'll be happy to welcome you again. We want to follow the same procedure we did yesterday. I explained the concept of the academic quarter, where if the time for a lecture is 11, you add 15 minutes for people to find their way there and be seated. Now, for those who feel like, oh no, but we still want to engage Charles Onyango Obo, he'll be with us the whole of today. He will be part of one of the panel discussions, and it's about the Red Sea arena. So I think some of the issues from the keynote may also play a role there, and there'll be sufficient time to engage him there. I just want